All right, so we're going to continue our meeting. Henry Farms, if you want to start, give us an overview where we are.
Good evening. My name is Peter Zach. And Mike is project.
Mike is on. I think you have to push it toward you.
Top of the microphone.
There's a little
Hold it
ball.
towards you.
How's that?
Yep.
That's better.
All right.
Yeah.
I believe it was the last time that I was here, we had submitted the detailed drawings for the 70 lot, single family and commercial lot. It's a 21 sheet set that we have gone through. This plan is more detailed and finish off than the 3 sheet set we had submitted originally. And at that time, we didn't want to have it reviewed until the letter was completed with the planning board. So we requested a review, which Sean did. He gave me a comment letter, which we'll address and get back to you on. We're working with Tim Miller Associates, John Dahlgren. They did the original work on the project also, so they're going to be updating everything and getting the reports done and back to you along with the secret work that's required for the project.
Okay. So we do have comments now. What was the date? What's the date of the plans? It's been a little while now. April, that's what I thought.
April 6th.
Yeah, because Maureen, you forwarded them again. So is there anything in particular you want to go through, Sean, as far as?
Yeah, I'll try to hit the high points. What I did in comment 2 and 3 was go through the bulleted items in Ashley's letter from back in March that identified what the scope of the review will be of the project pursuant to this stipulation settlement. So there's a number of items there that'll be needed to be updated on the plans. Then towards the end, I kind of go into some of the outside agency approvals. There is going to be, or based on the current plans, there's going to be disturbance to the local wetlands. So that we will need an application for a permit from the planning board for that disturbance. There is disturbance greater than an acre, so an amended stormwater pollution prevention plan is going to be required. The applicant did receive coverage under the old 2010 permit, I think it was. But based on the newer disturbances or any changes to the plans, that SWIP will have to be updated.
So when you say the stormwater pollution prevention plan has to be updated because there are newer disturbances, does that mean then that new coverage is required under current permits, or just that?
No. So my understanding, and I believe during the initial review of this, the applicant provided the current coverage under the 2010 permit. So it would only be updates to that original SWIP if there are any changes from the original approved plans to now to cover any, additional disturbances or new impervious surfaces. So,
But it retains coverage under 2010.
correct,
Okay.
because they pay the $110 annual fee to DEC.
Okay.
So, Orange County Department of Public Works approval is going to be necessary for the 2 town road entrances to Lakes Road. And there was a request from the county for an updated traffic study. So that'll have to be provided. I did today speak with Pat Patterson, the highway superintendent, about scheduling a meeting for the 2 weeks from now to review the plans, since these are all going to be all new town roads that are proposed. So I'll review that with him. In the letter that Ashley had prepared, there was some interest in getting some input from the town on the lot layout and any maybe changes that they may want to see. So I think that referral should be made to the town board for any input. There is a whole water system that's proposed with 2 wells, a treatment facility, and water mains all the way through the development to serve all the homes. So that will require New York State and Orange County Department of Health review approval. You may want to have, and I know we had budgeted in the letter to have Frank Getchell review those potable water sources. So perhaps you could authorize his review tonight. And Orange County Department of Public Works will also have to review the sewer main collection. Keep in mind, this is in the Luna District, which currently there's a moratorium in the town of Monroe for sewer because they're above their capacity in that agreement. But I'm sure the county would review the design plans for now. Vince, one thing I didn't see in any of the paperwork that I had was the determination from Army Corps on the local wetlands or any of the wetlands on site. Do you have that?
Right now, we're finishing off the mapping and reporting.
Okay.
So that hasn't been submitted.
Okay.
From our initial reviews of everything, there's no significant changes to the original wetlands.
Okay.
Just some minor modifications.
Okay. But you're pretty sure the 2 disturbed wetlands are going to be non-jurisdictional?
I'm sorry, rephrase that.
The 2, you're proposing to service the 2 wetlands on the site, you're sure that's going to be non-jurisdictional for Army Corps?
The wetlands that previously were non-regulated and disturbed
Right.
are going to end up being the same.
Okay.
But I believe we did have a small Army Corps disturbance also. I'll have to
On the
double
front
check.
entrance drive?
Correct.
Right. But the houses are not within an Army Corps regulated?
Correct.
Right.
So that relied on a jurisdictional determination at the time? I'm gonna guess.
Yes, previously.
Okay. Has that been renewed or updated? I'm trying to
That's what we're working on.
remember. Okay, working on that.
Yeah, we haven't submitted it to the Army Corps yet. We're just finishing off the mapping and the reports.
Okay, and then, but that doesn't mean they're not necessarily subject to
Local.
local. so-
Correct. Yeah.
okay.
Right. Which is why we're going to need an application for that.
Right.
This is going to require referral to Orange County Department of Planning because it's adjacent to Lakes Road. And then, as Vincent noted, they're working on that secret consistency analysis that was requested in that letter back in March.
Ashley?
Just a few additional things. Just a few additional, for one, I think I just realized the letter that Sean was referring to, that was from the planning board about the scope of review. It was originally in March, but then it was revised in June. So some of those things, I think, most notably the referral to the town board about revised lot layouts is no longer in that letter. So just to, most of them are, but that's one that I know wasn't, so just to note that.
Why originally did we think it had to go to them?
So we were originally asking that they consider, and I can pull up the exact,
I think it was specifically to see if they wanted any of the lots to be located on Highview,
Okay.
which is a dead end road.
Okay.
So you did previously get proposals from CHI, Dave Tompkins, Weston Sampson, Frank Getchell, and Karen, our landscape architect, for consultants on the project. You haven't formally retained them yet, though, because you were waiting, you got the proposals, and then it went back to the applicant to determine whether or not they wanted to proceed. So now that they are proceeding, it would be appropriate this evening to make a motion to retain those 3 consultants for the project.
All right, so why don't we take care of that now? I do have the letter up that had been amended in June, and at the bottom, it discusses, in fact, the 3 consultants, in addition to our attorney and our engineer, that we were going to retain to look at landscape issues, wetlands ecology, and then hydrogeology. So I'll make a motion that we go forward and retain CHA Consulting, which is Dave Tompkinsinger, Weston and Sampson, which is Frank Getchell, and then Karen Art, Cala, to do the review of the project. It was Cala, correct? Yeah. May I have a second?
Second.
Noreen?
Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Jeff Manson,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
Nick Napoli,
Aye.
Dylan Penn.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else we need to do, Ashley?
That's really, I think, trying to hit on everything else. Really, the seeker consistency analysis, you'll need that in order to look at seeker and make your GML referral.
I think we also at some point wanted an opportunity to go out to the site, but I don't think that's occurred at this point.
Yes.
So, I don't know how easy it is to get into the site. It's fairly brushy, isn't it?
Yeah, but there are some all-wheel
Trails.
drive trails to get
Okay.
through. What I would recommend is probably scheduling it at the next meeting,
Okay.
and then that way we'll have all the site work and data completed and submitted for everybody to review. Then when we're out in the field, everything will compare to what's on the maps.
My only concern is the longer we go out, the more likely there'll be snow on the ground. So
I'll have snowshoes.
I don't like to walk in the snow. It just gets difficult to see what's there, obviously, if there's no cover. So, maybe we'll talk about this further. Well, so what do members think about going out to the field? I mean, it's getting colder, but it's still doable.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I'm open.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean we can't go again. Yeah, I just think we should get out there because we've been talking about it and we still haven't gotten out there. So perhaps you could speak to whomever, or if we have to speak to you about setting something up. Generally, weekends better? Yes. So perhaps a Saturday or Sunday.
Morning's best, or
Mornings,
afternoon?
Earlier the better.
early better. Saturday, Sunday, preferences?
Saturday, I can't do something.
You can't do Sunday? Saturday's okay? Yes? So Saturday,
Saturday.
yeah.
And is there any way to stake a couple center line roads?
Yeah, just so we know when we are wayfinding.
Sure.
That'd be great. And then we should take a look at the maps to see if there's a map that kind of superimposes various pieces of information so we can look at it as we're out in the field, like have with us. I would think just the general road, the lots, topography and wetlands. Perhaps they could all be on there.
Yeah, I think you're one of those.
We have one of those on that? Okay. We'll just make sure.
Could I coordinate this through email, or?
Sure, you could talk to Maureen and then she'll coordinate with us.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so that we can get that going. I think that's it for now, right? Board members, comments, questions on what's been submitted to date? Nothing? Anything? No? All right, so thank you.
Thank you, have a nice evening.
You too. All right, next item on the agenda is Meadow Hill subdivision. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
This is the subdivision we see like once a year.
Change engineers.
Ah, I think this is the third. Maybe.
I can't keep it straight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ryan Smith, Mercure Employee Marshal, engineer for the applicant.
Would you have a business card?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so much easier.
Yes.
I think I should do that.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So as you indicated, you've all seen this before. The project site's located on the northerly side of Lakes Road. It's at 6 lot.
You should be on.
Oh,
You can take the mic out of the stand. No karaoke.
okay. Not this time. So it's a 6-lot residential subdivision located on the northerly side of Lakes Road. The project site is kind of split into two areas. There's two lots on the westerly side, served both by a shared driveway entrance onto Lakes Road. Both lots are served by individual wells and sewage disposal systems. And then on the easterly side, there's an additional 4 lots that are also served, each lots 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 are served by shared driveway entrances, individual water wells and sewage disposal systems. There are some large conservation areas located, I think it's just greater than 50% across the entire back and center areas of the lots. I think this project was the last before you in October of 2021. We're taking the project over with the new owners and looking to, I received Sean's comments tonight, looking to get the rest of the comments satisfied. And I know they're looking to drill a well, a test well, and start that testing so that they can satisfy Orange County's Department of Health's comments, and then any comments that the board has.
All right, I know, I'm gonna bring like this narrow area somewhere in here, right?
Yes.
The piece that's in, is it this one?
Yeah.
And that's the Chester side,
Correct.
so it's this side. Okay, so this was sold from Meadow Hill LLC to Meadow Hill Subdivision LLC.
Correct.
Did we get an updated application? We'll ask Ashley. So this was sold in 12/19/2022. Do we need like new owner's consent affidavit and application? Okay, so you'll go through that? Or,
I didn't realize that.
okay, yeah, I just picked it up too. All right, so why don't we go to Sean, you had comments again?
I did.
Maybe just the first one, did you get that since the property was sold, if you could submit basically a new, I think, application packet with the owner's endorsement and all of those?
My understanding was that the owner was submitting it, so it
Okay.
hasn't been ready, that that's pending, but I will make sure that they submit it.
Okay, there we go. So, I have Sean's comments up.
Okay, so if the board recalls, to the southwest side of the site, there's a portion, actually, Ryan, could you pull up the no, I'm talking about the trail dedication. There's a 50-foot strip there that is going to be dedicated to become as a part of the Appalachian Trail. To date, there hasn't been an entity identified for that parcel, so that'll have to, be worked out because there are specific entities that are only allowed to take that dedication of that parcel to satisfy the cluster provisions.
So I think we also probably need to touch base now with Chester again to see what's going on with them. Because we have this segment here, but then I don't know what's happening on the other side. The Chester piece that's next to this piece was in the same ownership. Is it still in the same ownership?
I do not believe so. I think it's under new ownership as well.
But they may, let me see, I guess I'll configure this out now. Let's see.
And they did have an application, I know, pending in Chester. Are you representing them on that?
I believe we are. I haven't worked on the project.
Okay.
So all I can say is one's Oakwood Subdivision LLC with a different address, but sold the same date. Well, it says additional parcels involved in the sale, so it may be just different LLCs, but the same. And we need the owner's consent and all that anyway, so we'll figure it out. But we should touch base with someone in Chester about it. All right, so let me get back to comments.
So for lots 1, 2, 3, and 6, which are the ones that have the most, or have the conservation easement around them, the building envelopes were actually taken from the conservation easement as opposed to the lot lines. So technically that's not correct, but I know last time the board had asked for one property to own all of the conservation easement.
So it would be the property.
So it would be the property line. So in this instance, it's not correct, but if the applicant's willing to do that, then it technically would be correct in the future changes to that subdivision. All of the curb cuts are going to be to Lakes Road, so that'll need a review and approval from Orange County DPW. Have you had any initial contact with them?
We have not, but that's something that we're looking into.
Okay. Lakes Road is a scenic road, which is regulated by 5721.4. One thing that we had looked at with J Squared subdivision on Harriman Heights Road was the location of the electric and trying to make sure that those trenches were within the curb cut areas. So if you could just get some initial feedback and provide plans to O&R to make sure that you can try to limit the disturbance to where you're already disturbing for the driveways for each one of the electric boxes. Along lots 1 and 2, the right-of-way is kind of funky there. And the scenic road buffer is actually 25 feet from the property line, which it didn't appear to be on the drawing.
Okay, so it's currently shown from the.
Probably from the edge of the road. Trying to hit the hot.
The law says from the right of way?
I'm sorry?
Does the law say from the right of way?
I'm pretty sure it says from the right of way.
I'll need to check that, make sure.
Because it was kind of similar to J Squared, but the right of way was kind of funky like that. And it was
Okay.
parallel to the right of way line. The wetlands are noted as approximate limits. So I don't know if you had or are going to be getting an updated wetlands delineation.
So this map is currently based off of the previously submitted map with the other engineering information. So we're in the process of updating the survey and all of that additional information. So we'll clarify that the wetland boundaries are accurate when we complete the survey.
Okay. There are a number of notes that are going to be required for the subdivision that'll have to be added to the plans, like house relocation notes and others. If you go through the subdivision regulations, they're noted in there. SHPO was a hit on the AF. If you could submit through the CRIS system and copy Noreen on that submission.
Absolutely.
There is northern long-eared bat on the property, so any, whatever mitigation you choose will have to be noted on the plans. The disturbance is over an acre, so the applicant provided an erosion sediment control for a basic SWIP, so essentially all they have to do is erosion sediment control, but there's a number of other requirements that should be included. I had a couple of comments on the erosion sediment control. The conservation easement will eventually have to be marked, and the town has standard placards that go up. If you could submit a plan for the board's review to make sure that they're okay with where those placards are going to be located, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
And then one just, I guess, question for myself. Lots 1 and 2, the houses seem to be a lot closer to Lakes Road than the rest of the homes. Is there any way to push those back to try to get them away from the road?
I seem to remember that the last go around, we mentioned it.
I can look into it. I know where the sewer disposal systems were I assumed that when they first designed this, that they were trying to avoid impacts to the stone wall and these trees in the back.
Sure.
So I'm guessing they were trying to maintain separation from the sewage disposal system. We're going to be completing some supplementary soil testing, so we'll look into that when we get to that point and see about shifting those back if possible. It will obviously, the driveways and everything will have to come back further. There'll be a little bit more disturbance associated with that, but we'll look into it.
And then the applicant did include a tree clearing plan that identifies each tree that's going to be cleared greater than 6 inches. But if you can provide a chart identifying those in the chart, which ones are remaining, which ones are coming out, and then identify how many are going to be replaced. Because ultimately, if there's a net decrease in number of trees, there's a fee associated with that.
Okay.
And that's all I had.
Ashley, do you have comments?
Just a few. You had previously assumed lead agency for this project. They did submit a revised EAF. The EAF 13B indicated that the action was going to alter or encroach an existing wetland. I don't know if that was,
That's not intentional. That's
Okay.
not exist.
so that could just be corrected then. So the property is in the RR1, but your bulk table is identifying it as the SR20. And I know some,
Hold over from the previous.
okay.
So we'll revise that.
And I know that, so the bulk table, I know you're seeking some reduced setbacks under the cluster regs and reduced lot area, but if you could set forth the actual RR1 bulk and then show what you're seeking to reduce them by. The lot area could be by 50%, so it would be 1.5 acres, so not an issue there, but some of your lots wouldn't comply with the lot width, and that's something that can't be modified under the cluster, so you might have to modify the layout a little bit there. Lot coverage as well might be, depending on the percent you're at now. Sean had mentioned some of the notes. You also need a note regarding the scenic buffer zone, and I have some language I could send over for that the board's used previously.
That'd be great.
Because it's a cluster, it also have to have a note saying that there's no further subdivision of clustered lots shall be permitted, section 5721.7C. I could send you that as well. There's also stormwater notes in section 4617. And when you are, Sean mentioned the tree plan, so if you could look at the Monroe tree law and just make sure you're showing everything that's required by that, how you're protecting trees within a certain distance of disturbance, that kind of thing. You did previously send to Orange County, but they did come back saying they're awaiting a full statement of action, so once you have more information, you can make that referral to the Orange County Regional Review.
So I'm just opening up a whole bunch of files to see where we were. So we had done circulations to Orange County Department of Planning, apparently.
I don't know if that you did it or if it was maybe something they responded to in response to including them as an interested agency on
It says received the above referenced major subdivision. But I think given the lapse in time, because it's been a couple of years,
and they've said that it wasn't a complete statement anyway, so it has to get resubmitted.
yeah, so we'll have to resubmit that. And then Department of Health, this was in 2020, and this had to do with the test wells. The water, we were going to do well testing, I guess.
Right.
And that was going to be Frank Getchell, or no?
It was, and if I recall correctly, I think Frank
Frederick.
did review it.
Oh, so this may have been before WSP, because this says Frederick on it. I don't know if Getchell was there, but now we're having Getchell do our stuff. So I'm not sure who was on this, because, so the other thing I found was WSP. This was 2020,
I think WSP was representing, so I have something from
and that was Tom, oh, they were
July
representing,
2021.
okay, so they're representing the applicant. WSP.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh, that's great, so that was, got it. So, Where are we with the well testing? Do we know?
I believe the applicant was asked to do the PFAS PFOAs, and I think that was never resolved.
Okay, so there was this whole question about well testing. The prior owner had retained WSP, Tom Cusack. We probably had Frank Tetchell working on this.
He did.
And so we
Yes.
kind of have to restart that process and see where everything is. What ended up happening with the notice of violation? So were you aware there was a notice of
There was
violation?
something about somebody who was doing grading and driveway cutting, I think
Right.
previously. And I think the project had been stopped and then sold after that point. I'm not sure what the status of it is at this point.
Okay, so is this something we have to follow up with Ben regarding about this notice of violation that was issued? This was for the clearing that was going on?
In order to get the well drilling rig into the site to test.
I think, so I think when Ward was here, there was a question whether they went beyond what was necessary for a well drilled rig.
Right, but the problem was they didn't even get a permit from the county, and they didn't get a permit from Ben to drill the well.
Oh, okay.
That's what the notice of violation was for.
Oh, okay. So you should check into that and see where, whether you have any of that. Okay.
And just an update, Frank Getchell did review it, and WSP responded on July 20th of 2021 to Frank's memo. So I can get this to Frank to see if he's had a chance to review this yet.
And then I think we, a while ago, already did our resolution for the yield for the cluster. And we do have a wetland delineation report that was done by NCES. So again, maybe you have that, but just be aware that's there. That was the same thing. And follow up with Chester for that parcel of trail. I think that's what I can think of at the moment. We did ask them to consolidate driveways and park as was a scenic road. So I guess I would also say, or ask, compared to the prior plans, are these buildings the same size? Will they be larger? I have, for some reason, Ward Brower's thoughts echoing in my mind about supersized houses. And do we know how many bedrooms are going to be? Are they going to be bigger, or do we have a sense of what the applicant wants?
I think that they're generally going to be the same size as they were previously proposed.
Okay.
We've, some of the driveways did get reoriented a little bit, just so that there's a little bit less, the entrances are all in the same locations, but they previously showed them wrapping around the front of the houses. We kind of made them all into the center, so that's a little bit less disturbance and grading required for each of those. I'm not sure I'll check into the house sizes and make sure that they're going to be somewhat consistent with what's shown on here.
Yeah, I would check the house sizes and the number of bedrooms.
Yes, so just a comment on that, I know we're trying to mention the house relocation notes that have to be on there. If you could include a table showing the square footage and the bedrooms for each house, because that's what's required by the house relocation notes, that what's measured on.
Yeah, that's what we did for DG too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we, in general, ask for some additional information. Again, make sure there's adequate well, water supply, septic, et cetera.
Absolutely. We generally show, they're all shown as 4-bedroom, so I think that would be the maximum. They require review from the health department anyway, for anything larger than that, for both the well and the sewage disposal system, so that'll be the maximum.
Archaeological. Did they ever do an archaeological? Because they are in an area of archaeological sensitivity.
They are, not that I'm aware of, and I had suggested that they submit to SHPO.
Yeah, so, I think, I don't know. Do you know if they started anything with SHPO or not?
Not to my knowledge, but that's something we're gonna have to, I think, redo anyway, unless it was completely done.
Quick look. opposite. So for those of you who may not be familiar with this is the CRIS system. That's the state park system. Office of Parks Recreation, Historic Preservation, and it will identify whether projects have been submitted for review. So we're a little far, we're in here somewhere, right? Like here?
Yeah, on the western side of northwestern side. I'm not seeing that.
Oh, wait, no. Here we are, here it is. Okay, so you do have a consultation project, and it says status closed. 13-acre property north side of Lakes Road, so check to see, I'm gonna say maybe there was a tracker report, but I just can't recall. But regardless, I think we'd want one anyway. Oftentimes, Chippewa will say, even if it's archaeologically sensitive, you know, well, let's see what you find,
Absolutely.
if there's anything. I for some reason, I feel like Tracker might have done something, but it could, just, we see so many projects, I'm not sure. So that was kind of hanging out there. All right, so Ashley, that was it in terms of comments. Board members, do you have any comments on this?
No.
Jeff?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, Pat?
No, I don't.
Dylan? All right, so I think this is really about catching up with where we are, bringing it back up to speed. May have to do some consultation again, but most important, we need the updated application
Absolutely.
and the owner consent affidavit and all that paperwork, so you can coordinate that with Noreen. All right?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Have a good night. All right, so with that, we just have, I think, minutes. But do we have those minutes? Do we know? May 11th?
Wait till the next.
Wait till the next? Okay, we're gonna wait till the next. Any other business that we need to bring up at this point in time? No?
Actually, harassment training, or if there was another kind of training you could have done, prevention of violence or something like that. You have to do one or the other. Is that right?
Workplace
I
violence.
think it's
Was
both.
that from Jen?
It's usually both.
Was that from Jen, the supervisors?
Yeah.
I think it's only had to
Okay, so both don't count towards the
do.
credits.
Does not count towards your credits.
Sweet.
Because otherwise we've all be done like that, because you have to, the other one is mandatory.
Yeah, this has more to do with doing training that is planning related.
Right, planning or zoning, should have gone to our secret class. Would have wiped you out.
So what you can do, well, so actually,
Is it video?
oh, I think it's over. Tonight there was a wetland training session. There, you know what, actually, let me bring up my secret PowerPoint, because on it there was some training.
There's one in December 14th.
Hang on, I'm gonna
And
tell
there's one
you.
at the end of this month, for workplace violence. Those were for both workplace violence, December 14th and November 30th.
Okay, so for your CM credits, for anybody who hasn't done them, tonight, or, well, forget it, it was at 1 to 2:30, protecting wetlands and streams in your community. On November 14th, municipal options for financing open space protection. I think these are all webinars. And then on the 14th, overview of New York's freshwater wetland regulatory changes, which will actually be interesting. Because you're,
Who's that one from? That
these are from DEC, it's the Hudson Estuary Program.
Can you forward it to me, and I'll put it out to the whole board?
Yeah,
Thank you.
so, and then I'm sure there are more training options.
I'm
You know-
sure there'll be something from, Carrie coming out and Adam again.
Right,
They'll get something, they usually have one or two for December, and then we're done.
so we can see what our schedules are like, maybe someone wants to offer an hour training for.
They look at you like,
I'm looking at Ashley and Sean, they're like, eh.
I have an MS4 presentation, it's just literally a Jeopardy thing, if you guys are interested.
Okay, is it you give it, or it's?
Yeah, Dave Frickson from my office and I give it every year at Town of Walker. So,
Okay, that'd be actually interesting.
yeah.
I think we could do that. So depending on our agenda, maybe either we could do it,
Well, November you have the two, you have Pilates and work on.
yeah, no, not November, but for December. Or is it an hour about? Or we could do it an hour ahead of an agenda. But I would say December because it's a little short notice to do it unless you think.
I have it from last year, we're updating it for our presentation sometime in December, so,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, so why don't we plan December? Because
Sure.
next week or the following week would be. So that'll be an hour. And then we'll see, where that gets us. But yeah, and just keep sending things around, Maureen.
Every time I come in, they go
Yeah,
out.
but yeah, remember
Training
those.
gets bigger and bigger in my writing.
All right.
It's not just you guys, I gotta give it to the ZBA and they will.
So with that, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions, any nays?